Exclusive contract novel of Feilu Fiction Network. Double contrast of Genshin Impact. I incarnate as Cao Thief when I reached the level of sorcery, at the moment when Wuxiang's sword was about to fall and slaying Mei, the double contrast QA live broadcast room suddenly arrived. The person in contrast is the traveler, the protagonist of the Tivat world. Although the travelers here are also very good. But on the journey, I have seen too many regrets that cannot be undone. But the Sky Brother on the dark screen video, the Traveler Sky Brother, is simply outrageous. Dueling with the Sky Dragon, this person threw out a Dead Underworld Dragon. Transforming the mechanical demon god, Gui said it's not as good as my Tianli corpse refining technique. The witchcraft and sorcery technique is at its maximum level. The technique of Ding Furnace is over full level. Gui Art is at its maximum level. Full level magic, tell me this is my brother. Pai Meng. Someone called me emergency food as a joke, are you serious? Wendy. Compared to fools, you are the scariest, okay. Funina. But Gui over there is really handsome and evil. Why can't he be a traveler on our side? Looking at those empty brothers in the dark, Tivat sentient beings, including Tianli, were both stunning and fearful. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1 Fu. May I ask if this is hell? You are listening at novel full.Audio. Inami Castle, under the attic of the Heavenly Guard. Endless thunder almost tore apart the sky, enveloping the entire city of Inami. Under the palace of Tianshou Pavilion, a young girl was quietly walking on the winding stairs. The blonde girl held her forehead with one hand and listened to the chatter of a white elf next to her with all her remaining rationality. I feel like the atmosphere in the air suddenly becomes so oppressive. Is this the pressure of General Thunderbolt? General Thunderbolt shouldn't easily let us go, will he? The blonde girl remained silent, just quietly contemplating something. Just now, the traveler used a royal duel to make the lady die under the sword of General Thunderbolt. On this journey, the lady who caused them countless troubles died. This left the blonde girl with no time to even pay attention to the tireless Pai Meng beside her for a moment. The lady died under General Thunderbolt's knife like this. Although he deserves it, there are still some. Woo. The blonde girl also suddenly stopped in place, covering her head in pain. Hey, traveler, do you have a headache? It's okay, I'm fine. Ying naturally heard the caring voice of Pai Meng beside her, responding to her while also resisting the pressure from General Thunderbolt. With Ying Mei's strength, this level of pressure is not enough to crush her, it just makes Ying very uncomfortable. In such an environment, the blonde girl also struggled to walk step by step to the door of the Tianshou Pavilion. They will be safe here, at least they won't feel the oppression from General Thunderbolt in the sky. Ying Mei also saw that the comrades of the resistance army were also fighting outside the Tianshou Pavilion at this time, breaking through the blockade of the defenders and all the way to the door of the Tianshou Pavilion. Ying and the comrades of the resistance army saw that both sides were now safe and sound, and they also smiled at each other, breathed a sigh of relief in their hearts. But at this moment, the situation suddenly changed. The spatial cracks formed purely by lightning are generated behind Ying Mei. Under the thunder, the figure of the Thunderbolt General emerged from the thunder. What fell along with it was the destructive sword light. An invisible sword. And just now, when she relaxed her vigilance, Ying had almost no time to react. This knife was a surprise attack for her. A group of the rebels also widened their eyes, completely unaware of the appearance of this scene. However, in the moment when the destructive sword light was about to fall, time came to a halt. Not only did General Thunderbolt's attack stop, but all the time in the world came to a halt at this moment. The dark clouds in the sky no longer rolled, and the thunder that was supposed to fall came to a halt in mid-air at this moment. What's going on here? General Thunderbolt. Did you make this? Watching his figure completely immobile under the thunderous light, Pai Meng beside Ying also immediately suspected the Thunderbolt General next to him. After all, her strength is the strongest here. And for this suspicion, General Thunderbolt was too lazy to explain. Ying could also guess that this kind of thing was obviously not done by General Thunderbolt. Even if she were the Thunder God, she wouldn't have such abilities. As for General Thunderbolt, his eyes remained cold as he gazed at Ying, leaving no doubt that as long as the time had stopped, General Thunderbolt would decisively strike down. The two generals of the resistance army were also investigating the situation on their bodies. One Yi said, "I just tried and now, except for the eyeballs, all other parts of our body are completely immobile." Wuxiang said, "If our eyes can still move, does that mean that the person who made this time stop wants us to see something?" Ying also affirmed it in her heart. The effect of stopping at this time is indeed astonishing. Strictly speaking, I was saved by stopping at this time. Otherwise, in my current state, I would definitely not be able to withstand the strike of General Thunderbolt. But what exactly happened when such a time came to a halt? And then, an even more stunning scene emerged amidst the dark clouds. Everyone on the entire Tivat continent heard an electronic version of the sound. The dual contrast viewing system has been activated and is currently pulling relevant personnel. The exclusive chat room for watching movies is ready in an instant. The dark cloud that was originally flickering with thunder was dispelled, followed by a black and white screen. The dual-color screen almost divides the entire world in half. This also made Inghe and everyone on the scene's gaze fixed on the screen. All relevant personnel have completed the retrieval. The double comparison live broadcast room is about to officially open. Everyone is free to speak freely in the chat room and can participate in Q&A. The person who answers the question correctly will receive generous rewards. Prizes include but are not limited to Divine Eye, Immortal Constitution, Demon Blood, Physical Cultivation, Divine Weapon and Sharp Weapon, Shoryuan, Elemental Power, Magic Props, Resurrection Opportunity, etc. During the opening time of the live broadcast room, the world will come to a standstill, and everyone's safety will be temporarily guaranteed. Now please rest assured to watch the movie. The electronic version of the prompt sound flashed through everyone's mind. At this moment, people all over the world, including Ying Mei, were stunned. Double comparison live broadcast room. Who should we compare? And there's also a reward. There's even a chance for resurrection. The live broadcast room is a bit exaggerated, right? Ying. Is it true that General Thunderbolt did it? I have heard of vocabulary such as live broadcast rooms, chat rooms, Q&A. Naxida. Comparison. What should we compare? Is it difficult for us, the second-generation gods, to compare with the predecessors of the first-generation gods? Madam. Where is this? Hell. Parmon. Wait a moment, even the dead can appear here. Second-generation water god Fukuros. It looks like it is. P.S. Every day at 10 o'clock, old authors are asking for flowers, evaluation tickets, comments, monthly tickets, and rewards. The first day is really important. Thank you all, Yenzu. Chapter 2 Madam. I'm cold, would you like to open champagne? You are listening at novel full.audio. Walnut. Hehe, I can't say for sure. This is the Underworld Pass, and what you see here is just a dream of Nankyameng from your lifetime. Xiangling. Wow. Master Hu, don't scare us. End of life. Humph, the people of Liyue are really lively now. Neville Wright. It seems that it's because of this double contrast live broadcast room that the deceased can appear in this chat room. Araki Ichido. Do I rely on such magic? Ugly. And then add a status quo that can pause time and space, creating an absolutely safe communication space. Great Compassion Tree King. This dual comparison live broadcast room is definitely not something anyone on the Tivat continent can build. Ray movie, sister. Are you here too? Thunderbolt Jin. Of course I am, but what are you doing now? Why are you chopping people again, Xiaobakan? Why don't you come out and stop eyeing? Eightfold divine child. True sister, do you think I can stop you? Parmon. Is Thor's sister right? Can you stop Thunder General? I'm afraid that after this time stops, Thunder General's sword will hit the traveler. Barbara. What? Chop the traveler. Ka-ching. Hey, traveler, what did you do with Inami? Why did it attract the gods of a country to attack you? Zhongli. Ah, is that really the case? It really fits the temperament of General Thunderbolt. Ningguang. Cough cough, the Thunderbolt General of Inami's wife. No matter what the traveler has done to you, please be merciful. The traveler is our great benefactor to Liyue. Qin. We Mond, the same goes for us. Looking at the content in the chat room, Ying Mei couldn't help but feel a warmth in her heart. She has been on the Tivat continent for some time now. Although the path of exploring the truth and finding her brother is still far away, she has also established a good reputation in this world. The two leaders of Mond and Liyue were also willing to protect her when she had an accident. However, Ying Mei is very skeptical whether these words have any effect on General Thunderbolt. Madam. Hehe, you don't have to consider going to Thor anymore. If she had really been persuaded to do it, I wouldn't have died now. Wan Yi. General Thunderbolt, you have already taken one of my friends. I won't let you take another one. Pai Meng. It seems that the Qin team leader cannot persuade them at all. Should we move the rock god and the others out? Ray movie. Humph, I hope you better use your strength to stop me, not any background or words. Ing. I had this idea in mind. I will personally stop you, General Thunderbolt. Kamisato Ayaka. Traveler, be careful. Thunderbolt Jin. Oh, how many absurd things did Ying do during the years when I died? Wendy. Has the lady died? Sigh. Rooster. The fall of an executive is also worthy of our entire winter country's half-day shutdown to commemorate. Rich man. I can't say I have to spend money on a big meal, it's really troublesome. Scattered soldier. The lady must have died under her own arrogance, ha ha ha, she really deserves it. Young master. Dwarf, are you talking about yourself? In the future, you will end up with a lady one day. Scattered soldier. Dad Arya, do you want to die? Funina. Let's fight, let's fight. Anyway, the world has been paused now, why don't we make things bigger? I'm worried about not having a chance to watch. Charlotte. Speaking of the play, which big screen do you guys look at? It seems like a different picture is appearing on it. In an instant, the atmosphere in the chat room fell into surprise. Both the dead and the living turned their gaze to the screens in the sky. Under the prohibition of time and space, the only thing that everyone can move is their own head and eyes. What appears on that screen is a clear and visible countdown. The countdown for the double comparison live broadcast room begins, comparative character. Starry Gemini. 10.9.8.7, 3.2.1, the 10-second countdown has ended, and the entire sky has once again turned into two colors of yin and yang. Immediately after, a white screen appeared above the sky. Images appeared one after another on the white screen. Two golden meteors pierced through the pitch-black night sky and also crossed the continent of Tivat. From a directional perspective, it seems to be the area where Mond is located. After crossing the area of Mond, two golden meteors appeared above the clouds. Moving the camera closer, the golden meteor turned out to be a pair of young girls and boys like golden boys and jade girls. From their appearance alone, it is evident that this pair of blonde young girls have a deep connection. Behind them, golden wings pierced through the clouds, as if flying towards outside the clouds of the Tivat continent. Parmon. Traveler, that's you. Young master. Golden wings. You didn't use this move when you fought me back then. Ing. That's right, that's me whose strength has not been sealed yet, and the one next to me is my brother. Amber. When I first saw the traveler, I knew his brother must be very handsome. He is indeed a very handsome person. Prince of the Abyss. Hee, I'll accept this compliment, but that scene back then is really unforgettable. Funina. So, isn't it a comparison between the gods of some generation and the gods of descendants? It scared me. Naxida. Your Excellency, the water god of Maple Dan, what are you worried about? Fukuros. She might be worried about losing face, Ing. However, it seems that the protagonist in the double contrast is actually me. Ing still remembers which unfamiliar deity took away her brother in which battle. Stay on your own and wake up on the beach in an unknown number of years. I don't know if there will be any changes in this comparison live broadcast room. P.S. Every day at 10 o'clock, old authors are asking for flowers, evaluation tickets, comments, monthly tickets, and rewards. The first day is really important. Thank you all, Yenzu. Chapter 3. Is your brother a villain? You are listening at novel full.audio. As golden wings carried a pair of blonde siblings across the sky, a strange white deity suddenly emerged from a space crack out. The endless pressure almost caused the sky to collapse, and the cold and heartless words were also from that white deity out of the mouth. Outsiders, your journey ends here. The appearance of this white figure also directly caused a huge uproar in the chat room. Fukuros. That's the one who maintains the principles of heaven. Nilu. Who is the maintainer of the heavenly principle? Is there such a strong person in the world? Rock King Emperor. Maintainer of heavenly principles, ruler of Tivat order, owner of Sky Island. As for some other ID codes, they are not something that ordinary people should know, Kuching. And, isn't it just that you don't want to tell us? Prince of the Abyss. What kind of bastard is it indeed? But it seems that Tianli is not in the chat room. Thunderbolt Jun. Even if she is here, she may not be able to wake up at this moment, so she should be in a sleep state and dragged into the chat. Tianshi in the white framed screen, the white-haired deity Tianli confronts the golden-haired Gemini. Under the boundless pressure, the blonde siblings were still able to maintain swift action and even launch a counterattack. Just the aftermath of the battle caused turbulence in the clouds that day. But the strength of that white-haired deity is really too strong. Even if the blonde twins launch an attack together, they are still unable to be injured. It's a tiny fraction. Gradually, the golden-haired Gemini showed signs of fatigue, thus being caught by the flaws of fate. The blonde man was enveloped in a dark red energy cube and was instantly controlled by heavenly principles. The blonde girl saw her brother being controlled, and her eyes almost collapsed in disbelief. Without hesitation he launched a desperate blow. But this move still failed to harm the principles of heaven. Tianli also casually waved at the blonde girl who had lost her strength, and the dark red energy block also wrapped around the girl's Zhou body. The girl's eyes also began to turn black, losing the power of resistance. Kelly. I still lost. What a pity, Honor Knight sister. Young master. What a powerful person. I wonder if I can have a day to confront her. Scatter soldier. Then your result may be the same as the ladies. Madam. If it weren't for my death, I would have to settle accounts with you two now. Ningguang. The traveler also said that he came here to find his brother, but he didn't expect that he would. Our opponents are so powerful. Qin. Who, fortunately this battle was launched in the sky. If it were on the ground, it would probably be possible to fight within 1,000 miles. Let's turn it into ruins. Noel. Did the original traveler actually confront such a powerful existence? General Thunderbolt. He is quite strong, no wonder he was able to escape under my attack, Ying. If I were in my prime, you wouldn't need to deal with General Thunderbolt so much trouble. When the pitch-black scene brightened up again, the blonde girl Ying found herself appearing on a beach up. On the beach, the girl opened her eyes. When I woke up, I would have already appeared here, and you. A scene flashed through the screen, and while fishing by the river, a white little life suddenly caught. And this cute and silly white little life is also flying in front of Ying, smiling and introducing itself. The name of this little life is Pai Meng. Due to Ying's amnesia, Pai Meng also became Ying's guide. From then on, Ying also gained a new nickname. Traveler. Parmon. Humph, I'm the first companion of a traveler after waking up. Xiao Gong. Not only the first companion, but probably the other mouth of the traveler. Abito. Just to put it another way, I just compared it and found that this Pai Meng's appearance is actually different from that white-haired Tianli. There are some similarities in their appearance, Xiangling. It's a misconception, after all, Pai Meng looks so delicious. The white-framed screen also paused at this moment and gradually dimmed in the sky, while the black screen gradually began to brighten up. Get up. Obviously, the white-framed screen has temporarily finished playing, and now it's time for the black-framed side. Ying. I always have a premonition that what appears on this side of the screen should show my brother's perspective. Wendy. Indeed, when you were confronting Tianli, you were seriously injured and sealed, and your brother was taken away, but it seems that the principles of heaven seem to be arbitrary. De Ci Shu Wang. In other words, either of you was taken away or sealed, it's actually similar. At the moment when everyone in the chat room was chatting, a sudden change occurred in the world. The black canopy almost instantly engulfed the white light that originally existed between heaven and earth, including the one played in the white frame image, the scene of coming. The deep and pitch-black screen, like the gaze of a demon, made everyone in the chat room see it clearly. Like a peerless and ferocious demon born. Parmon. Well, traveler, don't tell me, your brother is a villain. Ying. I don't know either, but this aura seems too much like a villain, right? Funina. Just this screen is so terrifying when it starts broadcasting. What kind of monster is that on the black frame screen? P.S. Every day at 10 o'clock, old authors are asking for flowers, evaluation tickets, comments, monthly tickets, and rewards. The first day is really important. Thank you all, Yenzu. Chapter 4. Did you slaughter Pai Meng at the beginning? You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Under the high expectations of the public, the visuals in the black-framed video are also slowly presented. The golden-haired twins also appeared in front of all the audience, pausing at the moment when the siblings teamed up to launch an attack on Tianli. At that moment, the camera suddenly focused on the figure of the blonde boy, and then the situation suddenly changed. The white-haired deity forcefully took away one of the twins, but this time, the one who was taken away became the younger sister of the twins. The person left behind became the older brother of the Gemini, Kong. After the last desperate attempt to resist failed, Kong also placed his hand on his chest and didn't say a word throughout the process. He just looked at the fate that took away his sister with cold eyes. Subsequently, Kong also wearily closed his eyes and waited for him, the same seal. Pai Meng. Sure enough, this side is a traveler. Has that become the traveler's brother? Kaya. So, the main characters in this live broadcast are indeed the traveler's siblings. Kamisato Ayaka. But how do I feel? Which brother is not worried after seeing the traveler captured? Shenli Lingren. It's not that she's not in a hurry, but her gaze is very calm, almost indifferent to people. Servant. I am very familiar with this kind of gaze, it is a look of revenge. It seems that the older brother is a person with clear grievances and grievances. Naxida. And, after the traveler's brother realized that he was not a match for fate, he seemed to choose to take back his last strength and seal a part of his own things in advance. Norvea. Indeed, being sealed by heaven is safer than sealing oneself in advance by oneself. Funina, this brother's plan is a bit too deep. Even if one's family is taken away in person, one can still maintain such composure. Ing. How do I feel? My brother over there seems a bit different. There are still many sharp-eyed people in the chat room who can see that the resistance of the last move is not strong. On the contrary, with the help of residual power, he sealed some things inside his body before being sealed by heaven. In this way, Tianli cannot know what it is to seal something with empty hands. And when the empty eyes in the black-framed screen opened again, he found himself walking calmly on the beach. Alone, surrounded by a cold and gloomy aura, the golden pupils emitted a hint of dark light, which looked particularly eerie. After following me for so long, it's time to come out. Kong's cold eyes looked behind a pile of stone mills behind him. Behind the stone mill, a trembling white little life slowly walked out. Hello, my name is Pai Meng. I fell into the water before, thank you for fishing me out of the water. The trembling white little life is naturally Parmon. Kong looked at Pai Meng in front of him and recalled his previous experience of fishing to fill his stomach. He asked. How could you fall into the water even though you can fly? Pai Meng felt embarrassed about this and scratched his head, saying, because flying can also be tiring. And when I fly, I may also fall asleep in the air. So I accidentally fell into the water. Fortunately, you, a kind-hearted person, saved me, hee. A kind-hearted person. The empty eyebrows twitched, as if there was a difference. Parmon would actually say he was a kind-hearted person. You should know that the craftsmanship he controls has nothing to do with good people. Pai Meng. That's right, you're a kind-hearted person. Otherwise, you wouldn't have saved me. Speaking of which, since you didn't seem to know much about this world before, why don't you let me be your guide? Parmon, I still have a little understanding of the Tivat continent. Pai Meng has also launched an invitation to the air as usual, hoping to become the guide of the air. At least for now, there hasn't been much change in the plot between the traveler and Parmon. Ing. Speaking of which, my meeting with Pai Meng was indeed a bit rushed. Over the years, I still feel very puzzled about Pai Meng's identity, but now we are also the best partners, and I won't think about those things again. Parmon. That's right, we are the best partners. Kaya. Haha, that's because you're somewhat naive, traveler. However, Parmon is so cute, there's really no danger. Kelly. Yes, who would choose to take action against Pai Meng? Except for those bad guys like the fools. But Kong doesn't think so. The white little life in front of me, although lacking in power, bears some resemblance to the white-haired deity in my empty memory. And that white-haired deity, involving his own sister. Kong shook his head and said, well, I'm too lazy to ask you so many questions. Surprisingly, you don't want to answer yourself, so let's answer from your body. Refining you into a blood puppet should be able to extract the memories I want from your mind, right? Paimon, Parmon in the chat room. P.S. Every day at 10 o'clock, old authors are asking for flowers, evaluation tickets, comments, monthly tickets, and rewards. The first day is really important. Thank you all, Yenzu. Chapter 5. Parmon. Did I get a bento right at the beginning of the game? You are listening at novel full.audio. Pai Meng. What is a blood puppet? Why did you refine me into a blood puppet? At this moment, both inside and outside the screen, Parmon asked the same question. Although they didn't know what the blood puppet Kong proposed was, they could feel a lot of evil thoughts just by listening to the name. Kong Gu also explained expressionlessly. Blood puppets, also known as blood puppets, are good helpers for humans and their masters. The owner of the blood puppet can leave a special mark inside the blood puppet's body, allowing the blood puppet to obey its owner's every move and move its mind, allowing the blood puppet to do anything. Even the refined blood puppets possess the characteristics of not afraid of pain and death, possessing impressive combat power. However, the refined blood puppet will lose any spiritual intelligence and must be refined through living humans. Moreover, the cost and difficulty of refining are also considerable. Generally speaking, the larger the size of the blood puppet, the higher the difficulty and cost of refining. On the contrary, it will be lower. As he spoke, Calm also looked at Parmon. With such a small stature, the difficulty of refining blood puppets would definitely be very low. I thought I had caught something I couldn't eat while fishing, which caused me a big loss. Now it seems that this little Pai Meng may not necessarily be a big treasure. Such superior materials for refining blood puppets, even if we look at the whole world, there won't be much, right? And it can also fly. It looks like a super big treasure no matter what. It can also directly extract the memories in Paimon's mind, which is of great help for his future exploration in this world. This is like killing two birds with one stone. In the chat room, after hearing this sentence, Pai Meng himself was almost scared and fainted on the spot. Parmon. Damn traveler, I am so kind to you. Why did you train me into a blood puppet? Ing. Cough cough, Parmon, listen to my explanation first. First of all, this is definitely not what I want to do. It was my brother who did it. His Highness the Abyss. Call it. Previously, when I saw the sinister look on this black-framed screen, I could tell that the traveler on the other side of the black-framed video was definitely not a kind person. Funina. I didn't expect us to underestimate him in the end. He really plans to take action against Parmon just like this. Doctor. Oh, is there a way to refine blood puppets? It sounds quite interesting. I wonder if the travelers here know this trick. Rich people, according to travelers, if a massive army of bloodthirsty warriors were created, there would be no one in this world to stop them. Say no. Even if I do, I will definitely not fall into your hands. Naxida. Travelers may not really know this trick. The information I found on the world tree shows the world. There should be no record of this evil law. Alice. So this evil skill should have been brought by travelers from other worlds. Xingqiu. The traveler did indeed say that he had visited many worlds, but he didn't expect the traveler to learn such evil spells from other worlds. Eightfold Divine Sun. And the more children choose to refine blood puppets, the higher the success rate. So, do travelers still plan to target children? Kamisato Ayaka. Traveler, aren't you still a Luoli controller? Lay movie. So it's better to cut off your curse now. Ing. I don't know. I really don't know. Don't slander me, okay? Ying Mei instantly felt a huge black pot falling from the sky, hitting her head, making her almost feel like she couldn't even wash herself off by jumping into the Yellow River. As a righteous traveler, how could she possibly have such an evil thing? And it will definitely not be used on Parmon. Who knew that the scumbag on the other end of the screen didn't follow the routine when he came up? The empty guy on the black-framed screen naturally didn't feel anything at all, just continued in a calm tone. I have explained to you clearly the purpose of the blood puppet, as for why you were refined into a blood puppet. Besides making it convenient for my actions, it's also because you look very much like one of my enemies. And you said you wanted to be my guide, but your strength is just too weak. With such a weak guide here, I probably have to constantly separate and consider protecting your safety. These reasons are enough. As he spoke, Calm walked towards Paimon expressionlessly. Pai Meng was almost so scared that he turned his head and was about to run away, but he was also afraid that he couldn't escape at his own speed, so he could only shiver pitifully. Didn't you say that you lost your memory and lost a lot of things before? Why do you remember the method of refining blood puppets? What Pai Meng said was something that he had been muttering to himself not long after waking up on the beach. At that time, Pai Meng quietly followed behind Kong and naturally heard these words. This also made Kong's eyes even colder as he said, "So, you're still following me. It looks like you have other purposes, but forget it, refining you into a puppet can extract your memories between them. Now let me give it a try and see if my techniques are unfamiliar." As he spoke, Kong also turned his claws deep towards Paimon. At this moment, the image in the black-framed screen paused. A subtitle appeared in the chat room. QA session begins, please select the ending of Paimon from the following options. PS Every day at 10 o'clock, old authors are asking for flowers, evaluation tickets, comments, monthly tickets, and rewards. The first day is really important. Thank you all, Yenzu. Chapter 6, 5 Options, 3 Deads, How to Lose. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Starting from the QA session, please choose the ending of Pemon from the following options. A. Crafted into a blood puppet by Kong Gu. B. Kong Ji's method of refining blood puppets was unfamiliar, and the refining failed, resulting in the death of Pai Meng. C. The refining process was interrupted and Pemon died. D. Kong saw Pemon's extraordinary qualities and decided to let him continue to follow him. E. Pai Meng used his 3-inch eloquence to let her go. Each option will only be rewarded for those who answer the first 3 questions. The minute before the start of the QA session is the time for answering questions. Those who answer correctly will receive a double reward, while those who fail will also receive a double punishment. The appearance of subtitles in this row also stunned everyone in the chat room. The question and answer session that caught their attention the most in the double comparison live broadcast room finally appeared. After all, the reward for this QA session is tempting for everyone in the chat room. What everyone didn't expect was that the content of this first question and answer was so wicked. Parmon. Have I already been fast-forwarded to the ending? No, and I don't want to be the first protagonist to be asked and answered like this. Pai Meng. And 3 of these 5 options are that I'm going to die. I don't want to die, whether it's me here or me over there. Ing. Don't worry, Pai Meng. If you are killed by my brother over there, I will definitely avenge you and cause trouble for him. Prince of the Abyss. You mind my own business. Barbara. Cough cough, that, Pemon. I believe the traveler is still a fundamentally kind person, maybe he will let you go. Dialect. It's hard. The traveler over there couldn't see any expression in their eyes, as if they had already made killing a very ordinary thing. Yun Jin. The travelers here are very kind, they are a peerless demon. Xiangling. We can only be grateful for the travelers here. Fortunately, they are not the big demon travelers over there. Funina. Bored, I want to see blood flow like a river. So can we personally analyze these options rationally now? Alhazen. There's only 1 minute left for the quiz, so we need to prepare a little faster. Neville Wright. It can be felt that the travelers over there are full of ferocity, and coupled with the suspicious reasons behind Pemon's covert tracking, the likelihood of ultimately killing Pemon is probably more than 80%. Therefore, the probability of option A and option B being the highest is not unexpected. Eula. Option C is also possible. It should be the seaside of Mond, although there are not many people going there on weekdays, there is still a very low probability that someone will patrol there. Screen. Well, option C shouldn't be possible. When we walked all the way from the beach to the location of the 7 Heavens statue, we didn't see anyone, so option C should be the first one to be excluded. Eula. Damn traveler, you actually dismantled my platform. I have recorded this grudge. Young master. It's also possible that I remember Pemon was quite eloquent. Amber. It's also possible that even the older brother over there doesn't really lack any kindness, right? Scatter soldier. If you continue to discuss, 1 minute of answering time is about to pass, and no one is interested in those double rewards. Madam. The leader will die quickly and I'm not interested in doing it. Great Sage Azar. Ha ha ha, then let me come. I am very interested in those double rewards. I choose B. Great Sage. The traveler over there said that he may be unfamiliar with his methods, so there is a possibility of failure. All of them are B. Nilu. The possibility of option B seems very high. I hope the wise man didn't answer correctly. And soon, a reaction came from the chat room. The great sage Azar failed to answer and was punished, deducting 3. Your lifespan. Deprive this quiz opportunity. Please ask other people in the chat room to continue answering. Azar. What Sumi, in the office of the great sage of the Ministry of Education. Azar, sitting on the office chair, suddenly spurted out a mouthful of murky old blood. The already old white hair is now beginning to fall off while brushing, and the entire face is showing dense wrinkles. At this moment, the great sage also aged a lot on the spot. Even giving people a feeling of dying on the spot. And under the camera of the time stop and the live broadcast room, everyone in the chat room also saw the punishment of the great sage. Tinari. Deducting the amount of 3 years lifespan, although these 3 years lifespan may not be a lot for us, it is enough to be fatal for an elderly person like the great sage. Ganyu. For long-lived species like us, 3 years of lifespan may pass in the blink of an eye. Alhazen. I said, wait a moment. Once this live broadcast room closes and the time stops, this great sage will pass away on the spot. Nelu. Isn't that a good thing? Great sage. No, why? Shouldn't B be the correct answer? Scatter soldier. Alright, old man. Thank you for helping to eliminate a wrong answer. Now this option has been changed to 1 out of 4. Funina. Is this the first bird shot with a gun? Fortunately, I didn't answer earlier. P.S. Every day at 10 o'clock, old authors are asking for flowers, evaluation tickets, comments, monthly tickets, and rewards. The first day is really important. Thank you all, Yenzu. Chapter 7. You have a red heart. You are listening at novel full.audio. There were originally 5 QA answers, but now, due to someone rushing to answer, one of them has been directly eliminated. That's also why after hearing the QA segment of the live broadcast just now, there are still many people in the chat room who can calm down. In addition, the people who can enter the chat room are already elite characters, which naturally gives them a sense of composure, except for a few characters who like to die. Funina. Will I have the chance to see a scene of blood flowing into a river next? The refining method of blood puppets, to be honest, I'm also quite curious. Pai Meng. Woo woo woo, don't joke about other people's lives casually, even though Pai Meng on the black box video is not me. Are you? Neville Wright. Ms. Funina, I think if you mock others in this double contrast live broadcast room, one day others may mock you. Funina. Ha ha ha, it's okay. Let's count each day, and I'm a water god. I don't believe that the travelers over there will have any plans on me. Great sage. My 3. Your lifespan is gone like this. Servant. Alright, now someone has helped us eliminate one answer, and the subsequent answer becomes 1 out of 4. Except for C, every one of the 4 answers is possible. Ing. It's also possible to rule out D, at least Pai Meng has been following me for some time. I've never noticed anything special about her, except for her ability to eat. Xiao Gong. Isn't there something particularly childlike and mischievous about it? Parmon. Hey, that's too much. Wendy. Okay, now the answer has become a happy choice between A and E. I chose E, but since I made the wrong choice now, there should be no punishment. Mandrake. E, Wan Yi. E, Funina. Do people with the wind god's eye have such fast hand speed? They haven't even reacted yet, they have already sent out the answer. Damn it, they can only choose A. Doctor. A, don't worry, I'm not having any objections to the traveler or the little friend around him. I'm just curious about what the blood puppet refining method looks like. General Thunderbolt. A, I am also very interested in the method of refining puppets, and I have a small doll myself. Others did not want to participate in the chosen topic. After all, from the current situation, there are only two obvious answers. Only Pai Meng doesn't give up, leaving a message in the chat room. Parmon. It's impossible, I believe there must be something special about me. I want to choose D. Ing. Okay, I also chose D, I'm afraid of you. D, the QA session has ended, and the playback continues. After everyone in the chat room selected the answer, the black-framed screen continued to play. The pure white hands of Kong slowly fell like claws, and the forest white flames suddenly appeared in the surrounding air. What's even more eerie is that the flickering flames give off a chilling sensation that freezes through the bone marrow. In the place where the dense white flames drifted by, even ice and frost condensed out. Upon seeing this scene, Pai Meng was almost stunned and couldn't move. He trembled and said, "Is this ghost fire? It's so scary." Ghost fire. Kong shook his head calmly and said, "This is not ghost fire. According to my memory, it should be called bone fire. The full name of bone fire doesn't seem to be this, but unfortunately I have a significant memory loss, but I can still recall it. With the help of this flame, you won't even feel any pain and will be instantly refined into a blood puppet." Upon hearing these words, Parmon couldn't say a word and could only look at the sky with helpless, desperate, and begging eyes. And a few people who chose E in the live broadcast room also exclaimed in their hearts that it was terrible. That's right, Parmon is indeed very eloquent, but the premise is that she wasn't scared. Now Pai Meng was almost scared unconscious by the air on the spot, and no matter how powerful his mouth was in this situation, it couldn't be said. Wendy. The traveler's personality on the black box video is a bit too evil, isn't it? It's really like killing or killing. Zhongli. It seems that the travelers over there are destined to embark on a different path. Alas, without Pai Meng by their side, the travelers over there may become increasingly lonely in personality. Parmon. So scary, so scary. Traveler, you must not become like this. Screen. Don't worry, I promise I won't become like this. I just need to worry about the old man on the black box video. Although he's not the same person in personality, he's still my brother after all. When the audience in the live broadcast room feels dejected, the air side has already prepared everything to refine Pai Meng into a blood puppet. No, don't. Pai Meng's eyes also showed a frightened expression, but he was completely afraid to run away. She couldn't be sure if she would be caught on the spot if she turned around and ran away. More importantly, with her childlike mindset, she was already completely scared and unable to move. Taking this opportunity, Kong also placed his palm on Pemon's hair, and as soon as he thought, the white flame would instantly devour Pemon. However, just as he placed his hand on Pemon's small head, Kong let out a faint sigh, and the terrifying white flames around him slowly disappeared. You little one, you actually have a childlike heart on you. If this were refined into a blood puppet, it would probably be a bit of a loss. P.S. Every day at 10 o'clock, old authors are asking for flowers, evaluation tickets, comments, monthly tickets, and rewards. The first day is really important. Thank you all, Yenzu. Chapter 8. The first stop of the immortal demon, Mond. You are listening at novel full.audio. Cheatsy. What is Cheatsy Danshin? You won't have to dig out my heart again, will you? Pemon also looked at the sky with jealous and fearful eyes. I feel uneasy about everything spoken from the mouth of this peerless demon in front of me. The last time I heard the blood puppet from an empty mouth, wasn't that how it was? However, Kong restrained the coldness emanating from his body and said calmly. Qixi Danshin is generally described as a person who is extremely simple and kind, with an incredibly pure heart, just like a newborn child. In my eyes, Qixi Danshin is a very rare cultivation physique, with a unique pure mentality that can prevent people from being disturbed by inner demons during cultivation. Breakthroughs in the realm of cultivation will also be easier, achieving almost no bottlenecks. It is a very valuable mindset. Thinking this way, Kong completely let go of his killing intent. It is difficult for a person with a childlike heart to have malicious intentions towards a person. The other person is like a newborn child, and can have any malicious intentions. Moreover, there cannot be one person among millions who can cultivate such a physique, which is much more valuable than making any blood puppet. After hearing Kong's words, Pai Meng became even more afraid and huddled in the shadow of Kong, trembling and saying, "Is my heart so valuable? You wouldn't really want to take out my heart, would you?" Obviously, Parmon was also greatly frightened by the empty appearance just now. Kong was too lazy to explain this, but further restrained the chill emanating from his body, coupled with his handsome appearance. This made him truly become a teenager who can easily impress people with just a glance. After finishing all of this, Kong spoke up and said, "Parmon, didn't you say before that you wanted to be my guide? I think I might still need a guide, so I won't do anything to you." However, before Parmon could breathe a sigh of relief, his heart instantly rose to his throat once again. I only heard Kong's expression remain unchanged. "I have a strong enemy, and your strength is too weak. Surprisingly, you have a childlike heart, which means you are a good cultivator. During your time as my guide, I will train and cultivate you. If you can't even hold on like this, then it's best for you to leave me." Upon hearing these words, Pai Meng quickly nodded, and at this moment, she could not resist or refute any psychological thoughts. She's almost scared to death on the spot now. Kong nodded in satisfaction with Parmon's answer and then explained. "You asked me before, why do I understand the method of refining blood puppets even though I have lost my memory? That's because in my memory, I have traveled to many worlds and received many inheritances and powers from other worlds, as well as weapons and props from other worlds. But these memories and powers were sealed and wounded in my battle with a deity, almost completely sealed. Fortunately, before those powers were completely lost, I added a seal to myself in advance, which could protect some of my memories and powers from being discovered. The refining method of the blood puppet is also something in this memory." Pai Meng. "Is that so?" Kong nodded and thought back to the battle he fought against the white-haired deity that day. "In that battle, my defeat was already a foregone conclusion, so I took action in advance to save some strength. Now, it's also time for these forces to restart. Kong. Let me introduce myself. My name is Kong, and my past identity is not important. Now, I am a traveler who has just stepped into this world for a short time." Pai Meng finally regained his composure and quickly flew to Kong's side. My name is Paimon. It's all Tivat, the best guide." The black-framed screen slowly dimmed at this moment, and everyone in the chat room was stunned as they watched the scene before them. Dr. Ah. Very disappointed, Prince of the Abyss. Surprisingly, he didn't take action anymore. On the black-framed screen, I looked even more evil than my Abyss Highness, and he actually didn't take action. Pai Meng. Ha ha ha, I knew that this Pai Meng is indeed shining. Xiao Gong. Does it refer to something that looks very much like a child? Kamisato Ayaka. Don't mention it. It's probably because Pai Meng has a pure heart that the travelers there gave up. Wendy. Although the story has some twists and turns, it ultimately leads to a more formal path. The true journey is when the traveler is surrounded by Pai Meng. Neville Wright. But as we had guessed before, the traveler did indeed become even more different because he had pre-sealed something inside his body. Funina. From outside the world, is there any magic? Cheen, but I'm a bit worried. The first stop for travelers is Mond. Barbara. Is there anything that could happen with such a demon coming to Mond? Kaya. And this traveler doesn't want to be the one who doesn't like to talk here. He seems to have a very independent attitude. Ing. I know I may seem mute on weekdays, but that's also because Parmon has finished saying everything I know how to say. Ing. And Pai Meng, the old man over there, said that if you come to practice martial arts, your talent will be very good. Do you want to come with me to practice martial arts? Parmon, don't. Parmon is most afraid of suffering. Chapter 9 Wendy. It's bad, I'm going to expose. You are listening at novel full.audio. Aragoro Ido. By the way, it's better not to say so. Does the person who answers the question correctly have a reward? So where is the reward now? Azar. There is no best. Let this double contrast live broadcast room only bring punishment and fear. Didi, in the QA settlement, the winners of this award are Ing and Pai Meng. Ing gains rewards. A top-level treasure hunting compass that can be used as a dividing line to find any hidden treasure chest in the dark, and has the ability to automatically decrypt it. Paimon receives a reward. The Green Giant's blood transformation can maintain a 1-minute muscle and blood transformation, greatly improving combat effectiveness. As soon as this subtitle was released, everyone in the chat room also froze in an instant. Surprisingly, there are rewards. And this reward is actually so generous. Each one is definitely not something that Tivat continent can bring out. But in this chat room, you only need to answer the right questions to get it. Dolly. The rewards are really generous. It seems that even my big boss needs to answer more questions. Akhmer, the Red King. I now believe that this chat room really has the ability to revive us. Ing. Great, it's actually a treasure hunting compass. With this thing, I no longer have to search for treasure chests everywhere and rack my brains to decrypt them. The decryption of Inami's treasure chest is really a solution, and I'm going bald. Zhongli. This reward is also a perfect match for travelers who won't let go of any treasure chest in their field of vision. Ganyu. Congratulations to the traveler, who became the first person to receive rewards in this chat room. Luyun borrowing Win Jinjuan. Is it difficult because as the protagonist of the double comparison inventory, travelers have some special good luck? Wu Lang. The reward for Pai Meng seems quite interesting. It can turn into a muscle Pai Meng within a 1-minute time limit, greatly improving combat effectiveness. Wan Yi. I can't say for sure if after the time pause ends, just Pai Meng can block it. General Thunderbolt. Why don't you give it a try, Parmon? No, forget it. Sano. Even if you have the strength of a strong person, it's still not possible without a strong mindset. If you want Paimon to have combat effectiveness, you need to train and train more on her mindset. Alhazen. For example, following the cultivation method of Kong Gu on the black framed screen. Funina. That would be deadly, right? Flower God. Alright, I've finished watching the evil things. Next, I'll also look at some positive things. In the sky, the black framed screen gradually faded away, and the evil energy that blocked the sky and sun dissipated in an instant. Soon, the white framed screen also appeared in front of everyone. Compared to the black framed screen full of evil energy, this white framed screen is simply ordinary. However, among them, there is a travel story about Ying Mei, which is still worth watching for many people in the chat room. In the white framed screen, the scene of communication between Ying and Pai Meng also slowly appears. Pai Meng told Ying Mei that their first stop next is the country closest to here, Mond. The territory of Fengshan, the city of poetry and freedom, is also a good place to inquire about news. On the way to Mond, Ying also saw Mond's 7 heavenly god statue. At the same time as seeing the statue of the 7 heavenly gods of Mond, Ying also obtained the power of the wind element on the statue by touching it. Neville Wright. Well, just touching the 7 heavenly god statue can give you elemental power. It's really hard to imagine how to gain power in this way. Funina. This method of gaining power seems to be targeted, for example, sending people in advance to surround the 7 heavenly god statue and prevent anyone from entering. Yilan. This approach is unlikely. There are already many statues of the 7 heavenly gods in the wilderness, and even if someone is sent to protect them, they probably cannot stop the traveler's strength. Rich man. The sky is unfair and the gods are unfair. Why can someone so easily obtain the power of the Eye of God? Ying. So far, I don't know what the reason for my strength is. Humph, the old guys from the first 2 countries must know some content, but they won't tell me. Babados. Hey. Emperor Yen. Cough, I don't know anything. You ask the god of wisdom. De Ci Shu Wang. Well, I'm already dead, so I don't know either. You should ask the current god of wisdom. Naxida. I'm just a 500-year-old child. When Naxida complained, in the white frame picture, the traveler received the blessing of the wind element and casually killed several slimes blocking the way. Then they continued on their journey. Not long after walking, a wave of energy caught the traveler's attention, and after walking over there, a mysterious blue figure was communicating with a giant dragon, apparently completely unaware of someone breaking in. That figure was very unfamiliar to travelers at the time, but for everyone in the chat room, it was quite familiar. Amber. That's Wendy, Barbara. Wendy, could you explain why you were able to communicate with Tevlin, one of the 4 Winds Guardians? Wendy. Ahem, you misunderstood. I'm just a bard favored by the wind god. Chapter 10. You, a singer, start by lying. You are listening at novel full.audio. Barbara. It's impossible, at least it's also a giant dragon. Besides, at that time, Tuolin hasn't replied yet. How could a bard be so close to him? Cheen. Cough, sister, everyone in the world has their own origins. Why do you need to delve deeper? Wendy. Hey, although Wendy felt that, based on the journey of the traveler, it was only a matter of time before her identity was exposed. But for Wendy, if she can procrastinate for a while longer, it's also good. Switching account, Babados, my dear believer, don't you think I'm here right now? Barbara. Strange, did I really remember wrong? Ying. Come on, I remember you told me back then that it was because of my disturbance that interrupted your awakening ceremony for Tuolin. The actual situation may not be like this. Parmon. Yes. At that time, Tuolin was contaminated by the abyssal power. Based on my and the traveler's understanding during this period, the abyssal power should not be so easily purified. Babados. Ahem, I just said that at that time, I purified Tevlin in one fell swoop, but that's not to say, I'm 100% sure I'll succeed. Zhongli. He only said this to consider pulling you down from Mond's worship, traveler. Thunderbolt. To a shameless extent, someone has remained unchanged for thousands of years. Madam. I can only believe half of the words of the wind god forever. Norvea. Suddenly, it feels like our family's god has also considered it quite a bit. Parmon. Singing. In the playback screen of a white-framed video. The mysterious young man in green had no idea that someone would disturb him on such a deserted mountain, and for a moment, the surrounding aura was also leaked. But even more dangerous was that the giant dragon was startled away by the intruder. The young girl in green could only say nothing and transform into a wind and shadow, flashing away. After the disappearance of the young man in green clothes, the traveler and Pai Meng dared to step out and marvel at what had just happened before taking an unsettling bead from the scene. Afterwards, the traveler continued to explore under the guidance of Parmon, until a vibrant girl in red suddenly ran out and stopped the travelers who wanted to continue moving forward. May the wind god bless you, stranger. You are not locals of Mond, are you? So, please explain your identity. In order to avoid suspicion from the scout knight Amber from Mond in front of him, the traveler also reported his name. Ying. I'm Ying, and this is emergency food. Pai Meng. It's completely wrong. Call it. It's Sister Amber. Amber appeared so quickly. Tianli. Kali still remains concerned about Amber as always. Farga. The scout knights of our knights are really quite polite and courteous. Lisa, I just don't know if the black framed space over there will also be the first to see Amber on the way to Mond City. Seeing Amber like this, I'm worried she might be stabbed by the black framed traveler over there. Amber. Well, it shouldn't be so scary. Parmon. Damn it, I want to go back and scratch the traveler's hair bald when I see this. Huang Lang Jaidu. Hahaha, so this short winter melon, the nickname for emergency food, came from here. It's so interesting. Amber. Traveler, you haven't been calling for Parmon emergency food for over a year, have you? Ying. Well, it seems like this. Xinhai. Why do you suddenly feel that our travelers here are similar in terms of evil spirit to Kong Gu in the black framed video? In the white frame picture, the traveler also continues to follow Amber along the way, while accompanying Amber to eliminate the monsters on the way. After completing the mission along the way, the traveler and Amber also officially entered the city-state of Mond. Let me formally introduce the pastoral city of Wind and Dandelion, the capital of freedom. Tourists under the protection of the Westwind Knights, welcome to Mond City. Amber also warmly welcomed the travelers and introduced the existence of Mond City. And in order to clean up the air for the travelers, they said they would invite them to dinner. At the same time as eating, Amber also gave the traveler a gift, Wings of the Wind. The traveler also followed Amber's instructions and attempted to use Wings of the Wind in the city, demonstrating remarkable talent in this regard. This is naturally normal for everyone in the chat room. After all, Ying was able to control the light wing during the total victory period, and controlling the wind wing was not like playing. However, at this moment, the dragon disaster suddenly struck the sky above the city of Mond. The tearing storm instantly swept across the entire city of Mond, and a large number of houses in Mond were also swept and destroyed, like the end of the world. Mond's cavalry captain Kaya also walked out immediately to evacuate the crowd. Dainsrab. There are no cursed Cambrian people. Kaya. Hey, are you talking about me? Dainslab. It's nothing, it's just that you said you're the captain of the cavalry, but it seems like Mond doesn't have a single horse.